Good evening, everyone. How are you guys?
Good.
I'd like to thank you all for coming, for accepting my invitation. And today we're going to talk about something very important and very relevant to all of you. And I don't know if you've heard about it, but we have a very complex process in copper recovery in our Pueblo Viejo plant. And today my intention is to explain to you a little bit about that so we can do that safely. Are you interested?
Yes.
I hope so. All right, so like I said, the idea here is to keep informed of all the things that we have to take into account to operate this plant. This plant is a challenge for all of us because it's the second largest plant in the world where we use a very dangerous gas that in a second we will learn how to deal with. So no worries right there. It's a very dangerous gas. It's number 2 in the world, and some people say it kills. It's fatal. According to the ANSI article, the ANSI is the Safety Association of Engineers back in 2006, and Access in July 4th, 2015, they're saying that H2S gas is IDLH. That means that it's immediately deadly for life and health. So that tells us that we have to be extremely careful when working in and around that gas. The OSHA also requires that all regulations be followed, and that includes training all of the operators, and that operators are willing to work in the copper recovery plant. Now, after we have covered all the safety aspects of the plant, and we believe everything is ready, then we can talk about ramping up the plant. And by ramping up, I mean to start full production. If you look at the board here, you can see a very simple design of the process in which we have reactor number 1, reactor number 2, and reactor number 3. In those 3 reactors, what's going to happen is copper precipitation. If you notice from your right to your left, there's a flow going through our reactors, and our idea or our plan, our main goal is for precipitation to happen or to occur in each of those reactors, and to do so in the most safety manner that we can. According to Group Spectrum in their article from 2005 and access to the website in July 1st, 2015, only dedicated personnel is supposed to work in copper. So if you're using somebody in copper, you might not want to use that person in another part of the plant. So people who work in copper are dedicated to copper, according to what they are saying. Now, in the process of running the plant, there are some specific parameters that we have to remember to follow, because those are key to the safe operation of the plant. And according to Pedro Amarante in his article Precipitation from 2007, access to the website in July 2015, once again, the most important parameter to keep here in this precipitation process is pH. pH has to be at the exact point for precipitation to occur. And that point, I want you to remember that point, it's 2.6. What is that point?
2.6.
Perfect. So remember that. And we should be okay when we run copper and flow through copper. Another one is to please use all the H2S that you produce. We can have anything extra. The amount you produce has to be consumed in the process. And if you're wondering why, you might be right. Because if I have extra going out of the process, that extra that I have might be dangerous. So I don't want anything extra, just produce the amount that I'm going to use in the process. What would happen if I could not attain the parameters that I want? What happens if I don't have the right pH? If I cannot precipitate all that I produce, what would I do? The recommendation in that particular scenario would be to simply shut down copper. Shut it down. You simply bring it online, because it's safer to have it offline than to have it online without having the right safety parameters. So you simply take it offline, then adjust what you have to adjust, and then bring it back up, and it should be better. No matter what we do, it's very difficult to say that nothing will happen. So we have to be prepared. According to the United States Department of Labor in their article from March 2000, they saying that we have to have a plan in place before an H2S production plant starts up. So number 1, the plan has to be written, understood, and distributed to all the incumbents on this process, which includes some of you right here. And the training has to be set forth and recorded. The ERT personnel, by ERT I mean emergency responding personnel, they need to be trained, and they also need to be knowledgeable in the plan. They have to know where to go rescue somebody. Interesting also, according to Group Spectrum in their 2014 article, access to the website in March of this year, 2015, we have only minutes when something happens in copper. So say somebody goes down in copper and you have to go rescue that person, you have a window of 2 to 3 minutes to do something about it. Otherwise, you lose that person. So it's going to be very important for the rescuers to go back in copper and rescue and bring out whoever has fallen for whatever reason. So we have to remember that it's a very important safety precaution. I think if you remember the safety rules that we just discussed, and important also is to always work in pairs, never alone, and if we remember the safety precautions and production parameters, we can attain what we want. And what we want? We want to run copper safely and at the right production standards. I'd like to thank you, all of you, for listening to me. Hopefully you gain something you can use in the future. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you so much.